We all have them, even if we don't always see them boundaries. Imagine them as invisible fences around our hearts and minds. They define where we end and others begin. These lines in the sand are vital for healthy relationships. Boundaries help us protect our well-being, our time, and our energy. They allow us to say yes to ourselves and what truly matters. Without them, we risk feeling drained, resentful, or taken advantage of. Think about it. Ever felt overwhelmed by someone else's problems? Or maybe a friend constantly asks for favors but never reciprocates? These are signs that boundaries might be blurry. Setting boundaries is a way of saying, I care about you, but I also care about myself. It's about honoring our needs and expecting others to do the same. Boundaries come in many shapes and sizes. They can be physical, like needing personal space or setting limits on physical touch. They can also be emotional, like protecting our feelings and not taking on others' burdens. Digital boundaries are increasingly important in our connected world. These might include limiting social media time or setting guidelines for online interactions. We can even have boundaries with our time and energy, saying no to commitments that leave us feeling depleted. The key is to identify what areas of our lives need stronger boundaries. What makes us feel uncomfortable, disrespected, or taken advantage of? These are clues to where we might need to draw the line. Setting boundaries can feel awkward at first. We might worry about hurting someone's feelings or appearing selfish. But remember, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's about honoring our needs and communicating them clearly. Start by identifying your limits. What are you willing to tolerate, and what are your non-negotiables? Once you know your boundaries, communicate them assertively but kindly. Use I statements like, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I need some time for myself tonight. Remember, you don't need to apologize for having boundaries. Your needs and feelings are valid. And Section 4, A Friend in Need. Boundaries Indeed. A Story of Growth. I remember a time when a close friend was going through a difficult breakup. I wanted to be there for her, offering a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on. But her constant need for support began to feel overwhelming. I found myself constantly checking my phone, anxious about her next message. It was a turning point in our friendship. I realized I needed to set some boundaries. I sat down with her and explained that while I cared deeply, I couldn't be her sole source of support. I encouraged her to seek professional help and offered to be there for her in other ways. It wasn't easy at first, but eventually, my friend understood. Setting that boundary not only protected my well-being, but also empowered her to seek healthier coping mechanisms. Section 5. The Gift of Boundaries. Reaping the Rewards. Setting boundaries might feel like you're putting up walls, but it's actually the opposite. Healthy boundaries are like bridges that lead to stronger, more authentic connections. When we have clear boundaries, we communicate our needs and expectations more effectively. This reduces misunderstandings, resentment, and conflict in our relationships. It allows us to give and receive love from a place of wholeness rather than depletion. Boundaries also help us attract people who respect our limits. When we value ourselves, we attract others who value us too. Section 6. Boundaries. The Bridge to Healthy Connections. In a world that often glorifies selflessness, setting boundaries can feel counterintuitive, but it's one of the greatest acts of self-love and respect we can practice. Boundaries are not selfish, they're essential. They allow us to show up in our relationships as our best selves, capable of giving and receiving love in healthy and sustainable ways. So take some time to reflect on your own boundaries. What needs to be adjusted? What conversations need to be had? Remember, setting boundaries is a journey, not a destination. It's a continuous process of listening to ourselves, honoring our worth, and communicating our needs with love and respect.